Hello, welcome back to the Villa View for a match review of Villa's 2-1 win at Loftus Road today against QPR.
So Dan, back from Loftus Road, you've had a Villa View day out with Tom, Julian and the family. How did you find the game today?
Yeah, a really good day out. I mean, obviously my view wasn't the best, as you may have seen on social media. I had probably the worst seats in the house, but that does serve me right for not having been to an away game yet this season, although I will be complaining because, to be honest, there's restricted view and then there's this seat that I had today.
I saw somebody on Twitter say that you were tight picking restricted view. Is that the case?
Yeah, that £6 saving really gonna help me. I had no choice but restricted view. Obviously, if I'd had a choice, I'd have been in a proper seat, but them's the rules, unfortunately. But still, QPR should be ashamed of themselves.
Yeah, not a great view. I've checked the stats. 26 shots today. That's a Villa we're not used to, isn't it?
Today, I would say it was probably definitely our best performance of the season, and probably our best performance over the last 2 years. Just every time we came forward, we looked like we were gonna score. I mean, being a bit critical, obviously we've only scored 2 of those 26, because of those 26 shots, I know it sounds ridiculous to say, but a lot of them were really good chances. But the first half especially, I don't know how we didn't score. I think their keepers had made a couple of really good saves, and we've been unlucky with bounces a couple of times as well. But we were just so dominant going forward. The players linked up so well, and it was really refreshing, because I actually went into the game a bit worried about it. Obviously Terry wasn't playing, Codger was injured, we had Hogan missing as well, so we were short in attack, and I was quite worried because QPR had beat a few of the top 6 at home recently. But the Villa that turned up today, they were just bang up for it, really switched on, dangerous going forward, and it just all seemed to click today. I
think the thing that's most important about today's result, and probably what makes it one of the best 3 points, is that we've come from behind and won. I think it's the first time we've done it under Steve Bruce, and that, I think that mentality of you go behind and you sort of think, oh, that's it, we're done for. I think maybe we might be able to get past that now.
Well, yeah, I remember I turned to my dad when we went 1-0 down, and we'll come on to how bad the goal that we conceded was. When we went 1-0 down, I basically said to my dad, well, you know now, a draw is probably the best we can hope for. And that's bad mentality from me, but that's just how it's been. Being a Villa fan over the last few years, you know if you go behind, you're going to struggle. But there was a resilience today, and they didn't let their heads drop. And actually, we went 1 down, and then we just went on to play better than we had been from that moment, and it was really, really refreshing.
Talking about that goal that we conceded, I've only seen it once on Channel 5, and it did look very sloppy. Do you think that that's changes to the back line that maybe affects that? Because obviously Taylor's replaced El Mohammadi, Hutton's moved to right back, and Samba's come in at centre back. Do you think that those changes in the defence cause a sloppy goal like that?
I don't know whether it's the changes that cause. I mean, I've only seen it at the game. I haven't seen anything back on any form of highlights. Perhaps Johnston could have come for the corner. I don't know. It just did seem sloppy, and I think if John Terry's there, you do kind of get the feeling that kind of thing wouldn't happen. It certainly wouldn't be tolerated afterwards. But after that, we were pretty comfortable at the back. I think Samba deserves a lot of credit for stepping in. It's probably the first league game he started for. It's definitely at least a year, I would say. So, and as the game grew, he grew as the game went on. He grew into his position, and he looked a more than capable replacement today, to be honest. But the goal was a poor goal. There's no other way of looking at it. And at that point, you saw that kind of lucky bounce go to them. They end up scoring off our mistake, and they were making mistakes at the back, but we weren't getting the bounces. And then luckily, we've scored at a very good time, right on half time. Actually, the last kick of the half, and that's completely ruined QPR's day, because they came out and they still looked a bit shell-shocked by it in the start of the second half.
Well, I was listening on the radio, and there was a few technical issues. I actually had to dip out of the game at one point because I lost connection or something. But it seemed that after the goal, we really fought back into it, and we had a few chances before the penalty even came that we probably could have scored. Is that something that we've seen from Villa before, that mentality to fight back and come back into it when you go down?
I think that they've probably always got the intention to fight back and want to come back from behind, but we just looked good today going forward. I mean, we created more chances in the first half. To be fair, we created more chances in the goal-mouth scramble that led to the penalty than we did in the entirety of the Sheffield Wednesday games. It was just like a different team. We just looked a lot more fluid going forward, like the shackles were off, if you will. I mean, Adoma, Onoma and Keenan Davis, with Snodgrass on the right as well, their link-up play, I've not seen link-up like that from a Villa front four for a very, very long time, and it was just refreshing. Keenan Davis's hold-up play is so far superior to the likes of someone we had up front previously, Rudy Gestede, who's an experienced striker. He's light years ahead of him, and he's light years probably for where he should be and where he's come from for his hold-up play, because it's just so good.
Obviously, I'll say I've not seen much of the game, so I'm going to act as sort of the viewer that's thinking of, I'm into the game, I've only seen snippets on Twitter, how did it go? So who was your man of the match for today?
It's difficult not to give it to Adoma when he scored 2, and Alan Hutton actually had a very good game at right back as well. He is the renaissance man. If he ever finds his way out of the team, he's going to find his way back in. You know that now. But Josh Onomah, for me, was a cut above. He's too good for this level. He's perhaps not quite ready for Spurs' first team yet, but a year with Villa will do him the world of good, and it will do Spurs the world of good. I mean, we haven't got a hope in hell of signing him permanently. Even if we were to go up, there's just no chance Spurs are going to let a player with that potential go. But he ran the game. For me, everything came through him. He puts his foot on the ball at the right times. He knows when to slow it down. He plays the pass at the right time, and it's always with the right kind of accuracy and precision. And he can carry the ball as well, which is so important. There's not been many midfield players at Villa over the last few years that can carry the ball, and Onomah does it so well, and he scares teams. And with the movement that he had running off the ball as well, Snodgrass, Davis and Adoma, there was always one of them available for him to play it to. But Onomah, I think we look a better team with him in it. I'm not sure what our record is with him in the side, but he didn't play. I remember he didn't play in the Wolves game, and we definitely didn't look fluid going forward. But with him in there today, away from home particularly, the games really suits him, because you obviously get a bit more of a chance to break away from home than you do at home, and he just looked so comfortable today. And to be honest, I thought he was a cut above.
One of the things we talked about before the game was that with the Codger injury, and Davis doesn't score many goals, but he does bring the best out of other players. You need the likes of people like Horahan and Adoma to get the goals, and today they've both done that. Adoma's done it, but Horahan set the one up, I think, the second one. To have those players that can come in, people like Adoma, Snodgrass will get goals, Onomah's got a couple of goals, Davis will obviously score as well. We really need those people to step up now, because we've got no one else basically, especially up front.
Yeah, I'm hearing bad things about the Codger injury. I think it's going to be quite a while out for him by the sounds of it. But as you say, other players need to step up, and that's what we were saying in the week. With players out, others need to step up. And Davis has only scored 2 goals so far, and I was a bit worried the fact that his 2 goals so far this season, both the assists have been El Mohammadi for that. But he just brings others into the game, and Horahan actually had a very good game today. Was unlucky not to score, and on another day, it sounds stupid, but we actually would have had 6 or 7 today had we been playing against a lesser goalkeeper, had a bit more fortune, and our players been a bit more switched on in front of goal. We would have had a lot more. But Adoma's finish for the second goal, I mean, I didn't see it go in properly because my view was atrocious, but to have beaten Smithies from there, it would have had to have been a good finish on Adoma's wrong side. And he's very calm and collective from the spot. I'm not sure how many goals he scored this season, but he must be at least 7 or 8 now. He's really seven. He's really stepped up to the plate when we've needed him, and he's scored some important goals for us.
One thing I think I saw it on Twitter was that somebody said Dr. Tony was there today. Do you think that having the owner there puts a bit of a pressure on the players to know, the big man's here, let's perform?
I don't think he puts pressure on the players, because they're not going to be going anywhere on the basis of a bad display. I think he puts pressure on the manager, and people going about Bruce being negative, but when we were sat back, and I've noticed this a few times, when we were sat back the last 10 minutes or so, Bruce was urging the players forward. It seems to be a natural thing that the players do, and I've noticed that at Villa Park as well when we've been hanging on. He doesn't put a pressure on him. I mean, I know he was at Bodymore on Friday and he gave a motivational talk. That's obviously, it's done the trick, because we've come out and put out our best display of the season. But it's just nice to have an owner there, isn't it? He probably doesn't make as many games as he wants, but what we went through in the latter half of Lerner's tenure, just to have an owner that wants to come in, he wants to speak to the players, he wants to galvanise them and motivate them. And I think usually a manager wouldn't really like the owner getting too involved, but on this occasion it looks like it's done the trick.
When we were at 1-1, when you were at the game, what were you thinking? Did you think that we'd go on to win it, or were you sort of looking over your shoulder thinking QPR might get back into this? Because obviously games in the past at 1-1, sometimes you're thinking, the late goal's coming, or did it always look like we were going to go on and win? I
remember I said at half time, now we've got that goal right on half time, this is a very, very winnable game for us, because we were playing so well. We couldn't have scored a goal at a more important time. We'd have been going in 1-0 down at half time, it's a completely different game. It puts a different complexion on the start of the second half. But we just started where we'd left off at the end of the first half. We were all guns blazing, and we had a couple of chances within the first 3 or 4 minutes of the second half. So I was always pretty confident today that we'd make chances. It was just whether we could take them. But at 2-1, QPR have had a header that the Smith up front should have probably done a bit better with. If he'd have gone either side of Johnston, it would have been 2-2, and we might have been hanging on at the end. But I think another key thing is today, I think Bruce used his subs well. He brought Jednak on, as he has done previously, and he really solidified us. He sits in front of that back forward, heads everything, does the job so that they don't have to push themselves out. Delac came on the wing and worked hard to close the game out as well. So despite the fact we have so many injuries, I mean, you've got Grealish, who hasn't even got off the bench today. The squad is just so strong, and I think that's the important thing. Now we've got obviously 2 more games coming up in the next week. The mistake Bruce made for the Sheffield Wednesday game was he didn't freshen the side up at the end of that stretch of games. We've got to use the squad now and get some impetus, refresh it when we need to, because that's what we didn't do against Sheffield Wednesday. And I'd back us to beat Sunderland and Ipswich now. After that performance, if we play like that, we'll beat most teams in this league, because that today, it's not an easy place to go. Loftus Road, they've done over a few of the top 6, and as I say, I was quite worried about today's game, but we've won quite comfortably in the end, and we should have won by more. And I think the manager, the players and the staff, I think everyone deserves a huge amount of credit, because that wasn't a typical Aston Villa display today. Okay, we've won a few away games this season and we've won by more goals, but I bet the performance wasn't as complete as the one that we've put in today. And
finally, to end from me, we've all seen the Villa Facebook live streams that you do with Ian Taylor, and you love a Taylor teaser at the end, a little quiz question, and I've got one for you today.
Go on then.
When was the last time that Villa came from behind to win a game on the road?
I haven't got a clue. I genuinely have no idea. It was a long time ago. My guess of manager would be Paul Lambert.
It was Lambert.
Just trying to have a think.
I've got a clue if you want it.
Yeah, I'm going to need a clue.
It was another London-based side.
I genuinely have no idea.
I think you'll kick yourself. Do you want me to tell you?
Go on then.
It was Arsenal away, 3-1.
Oh, the first game of the season? Well, Antonio Luna was a good footballer that day, and that was the only time that happened, and it feels like a lifetime ago since he was playing for Villa. That's unbelievable. The amount of managers and games we must have had since then, ridiculous. But to be fair, that shows the size of the task Bruce has had and the rebuilding job he's had to do in a short space of time. Again, he won't get much credit on social media and whatever, but that's a massive win today, and I think we're on the right track. Hats off to everyone today. It's just a really good day, really enjoyable day to be a Villa fan, and hopefully we'll have a few more of these before the season closes. Yeah, you can stick another win on your chalkboard of away victories, something like 3 in 100 or whatever it is. I'm gonna need 2 hands to count the amount of away wins I've seen soon. So thanks very much for watching my ramblings on the QPR game today, and thanks to Dan Rolinson for firing the questions at me, because it can be a lonely place doing this kind of thing on your own. If you have enjoyed this video and enjoyed Villa winning away from home from behind for the first time in 100 years, then give the video the big thumbs up. Comment below with your thoughts of the game if you were at the game. Let me know if you saw it the same way I did. If you're not already a subscriber to the channel, then make sure you're doing that with your post notifications on to find out when our videos are out first. I'll be back with Dan Rolinson for a preview before the Sunderland game on Tuesday, and we'll also be doing fan cams after that game, so stay tuned to the channel because there should be plenty of content coming up over the next 7 days. As always, stick with the channel, stick with the Villa, up the Villa. If you enjoyed that video, why not watch another? Click the video choices on screen now to go and watch them in full. Be sure to subscribe to the channel by clicking our logo there on the left. Easy peasy.